Hi, it's Kat from lightof1000stars.co.uk. I hope you're having a great week. I'm down in Hampshire with my family on the edge of the New Forest this week, spending a few days with them. I wanted to put together a little video for you about criticism because I know that for a lot of women, when they consider going live, when they consider standing up in front of people and speaking, or perhaps making a video or going live on Facebook or something like that, one of the concerns, one of the biggest worries is, what's everyone going to think? Am I going to be criticised? Will I be judged? Are people watching this and criticising my hair, my clothes, the way I'm standing, whatever else? It's a huge worry, and actually for a lot of women I know that it stops you ever even starting. Before you even contemplate putting a video out there or standing up on stage, you're already worrying about what people think. It's a really, really common worry. And I wanted to try to give you a few tips today on overcoming that, because the bottom line is, if you are constantly worried about what other people think, you're not going to do anything, let alone do a video, let alone stand on stage and give a talk, let alone go to a networking meeting and make a great speech about you and your business. You're just constantly going to be put off. It's going to hold you back. And while it's not an unusual worry, we've got to find ways to help you overcome it, because otherwise you'll never create, you'll never put things out there, and you'll not get your message out to the people who really need it. So I want to talk to you about criticism and how to deal with it. Because the bottom line is, you are never going to escape being criticised. As soon as you become visual, as soon as you start to step up, let people know about you, and you become more visible, people will criticise. They will have an opinion. I liken it to when you announce you're getting married. Everybody in the world seems to have an opinion. Whether you want to hear these opinions or not, people have an opinion about weddings. And it's the same when you become visual, when you suddenly step up and appear and you start to speak and you start to make videos and you start to go live. People will have thoughts, they'll have criticisms. Sometimes people will be really nice to you, but there will be the times when you feel you are vulnerable and when you feel like you are being criticised. You will never get away from that, and the more successful you become, the more likely it is that you're going to be criticised. It's a fact of life, and it's a fact of stepping up and becoming much more visible. So what can you do about it? Because the bottom line is, you cannot escape it. I went to listen to a talk given by a woman called Sue Bryce, and photographers will know exactly who she is. She's one of the most famous portrait photographers in the world, and Sue is phenomenal when she talks about women and empowering women. And one of the things she talks about is this: criticism. And the way she looks at it, I think, is very pragmatic and actually is very helpful. She says that women, people, whoever's criticising, are always in a state, one of two states. That state is either fear or in a state of love. And there are no other states to be in as a human being. We're either in a fearful state or we're in a state of love. Well, what does that mean? What that means is, when we are fearful in any way, we are negative. We are critical, we are mean, spiteful, harsh, horrible, whatever. There are loads of different states when we are in the state of fear. But when we are in a state of fear, essentially we display things that aren't particularly nice, and one of those is being critical. When we're in a state of love, we are kind, supportive, generous, caring. We're not going to sit and watch a video and criticise. We're not going to sit and watch a speaker at a convention and criticise them. We're going to support them, we're going to uplift them, we're going to try our best to show kindness, support, understanding, recognition and appreciation. So, how Sue explains it is, when somebody is criticising you, they are coming from a state of fear. For whatever reason, that state that they are in is a fearful one, and that's where criticism comes from. And I think that that's a very empowering piece of knowledge. That really helps. It helps me overcome the fear of getting in front of a camera like today and speaking to you, of putting myself out there, wondering whether everyone's going to be looking at my hair, my clothes, where I am, whatever it might be. It helps me overcome that, because I know if someone is watching this and is critical, criticising it, being harsh, that person is not in a good place. Anybody that's watching this and tries to get something from it and is more uplifting and more encouraging and supportive is somebody who's coming from a much better place. And that helps me deal with any criticism. I wish, if I'm honest, that I'd known this years ago when I was in broadcasting, because you are very public then and you are criticised. And I can remember being criticised on email from viewers about my hair, my earrings even one day. Yes, really, people do actually email in about your earrings, and what you've said during a live report. You know, criticism would come, and it would not be always easy to deal with. And I think had I known this, I probably would have felt a lot more confident about dealing with it. So, that, like I say, there's no real way to get round being criticised. People will do it. It's just human nature. But knowing that somebody who's being critical or unpleasant, or heaven forbid that you get horrible trolls on your videos, or know that those people are not coming from a great place. Those people are not coming to you from a state of love, with kindness, wanting to listen and wanting to learn and grow. And know that there's nothing you can do about that. It really does help, I think, just settle your mind that people who are critical are not necessarily in the greatest place. The other way to look at criticism is always to ask yourself, particularly if it stings, particularly if it hurts you, whether there's any truth in it. So if somebody's criticising something you've said or something you've done, then if you find yourself kind of reacting to that, it's worth asking yourself, why are you reacting? Is there a grain of truth? Because most of the time when criticism really hurts us, it's because there is a grain of truth in there. If there is any truth in it, how can you address it? How can you make sure that you either improve or get better or avoid the problem next time? Learn from it, move on, be grateful for that experience, and then forget the criticism. Those are two fabulous ways, I think, to help you overcome that fear of making yourself more public, more visible, and getting your voice heard. People who are in a state of love are positive, they're uplifting, they're amazing, and that is the vast majority of people that you will ever come into contact with when you make a speech, do a video. I promise you, the trolls, the negative stuff is far less in reality than in our own minds, actually. So just know that people who are criticising aren't coming from a great place, and also know that you have the ability to connect with people through video, through going live, who will appreciate what you do, and their opinion matters so much, because those are the people you want to be working with. Those are the people whose lives you know that you can impact. So I really hope that's helped you overcome some of the fear of being criticised, and I hope that you found it useful. If you can apply those two things every time you feel nervous about being criticised, I think it should help you just overcome it enough to get going and start to get your voice heard. If you'd like more information about working with me as a public speaking and broadcasting coach, I would love to hear from you. I work with one-to-one clients, and I also have online courses available as well, plus a free course for you if you sign up for my newsletter, all about confidence in public speaking. All you need to do to access all of that is pop over to my website, www.lightof1000stars.co.uk. Let's start getting your voice heard.